The magic doesn't come from the herbs, the magic comes from within you. Hi everybody. So I am trying to light this to smudge. Anytime you're starting something, especially if you're doing magical things, you're going to want to smudge everything. So just the ingredients, all the stuff we're going to be doing, that just helps reset the energy and cleanse everything. So that's always going to be your first step. So after that's done, obviously make sure you put it out for safety reasons. So we are going to be making the Yule ornaments, or witches' balls, whatever you call them. So we have lots of ingredients, so I'll show you what we're going to do with that. But first, I want to quickly talk about where it originated. So originally, witches' balls were glass. So we do have some glass ornaments to emulate that. They were handmade, and they had webbing on the inside that was also made of glass. And this originated in England, and then later it moved into New England in the early 18th century, so 1700s. And at that time, people still believed in witches as evil, sorceresses casting spells and hexes and curses. So what it was, people would have these handmade and they would use that for protection. And the idea was that if you hang it up in your house, around the entryway usually of the home, and if there was a hex or a curse that was placed, it would be attracted to the pretty glass and it would get stuck in the web there. So that's where it originated. Obviously, it has evolved into something a little bit different. It is still used for protection, still used to bring good wishes and good energy into the home. But now it's kind of actually made by witches, which is kind of ironic. I think that's kind of funny. But yeah, so we have these beautiful glass ornaments, and if you want to, they don't have to be glass. They can be clear. They can be plastic. That's fine. You can even use, I've seen people use old light bulbs and take the stuff out and clean them out and use that. So that is perfectly fine. That's one of the great things about this is you can substitute ingredients, you can add whatever you like. There's really no wrong way to do this. So we have lots of traditional herbs that are used, and I'll show you the list of that and what they are and what they do. And then we have some things that are not as traditional, but just kind of make it fun. If you can see, we've got some really cool ribbon and stuff, and that's going to kind of emulate the original, the glass structure, the glass webbing on the inside. So this is kind of the modern day version. You can also use paper ones. I recommend using paper ones. That's what I use in the base of most of mine, because then if you have any oils that you're going to be using, for instance, we don't have any herb frankincense and we don't have any orange slices. Normally dehydrated or dried out orange slices would typically go in these, but that's not going to fit into that tiny little hole and we don't have any, so orange essential oil will work just fine. So it's good to have something that the oil can soak into so it's not just running loose in the ball itself. You can also put, I've heard of people putting wine in theirs. I try to stay away from using liquid just because for storage purposes. But again, different people use different things. So first, I'll get into the herbs and kind of what they do. So we've got mistletoe. This is one of the traditional ones that is used for Yule. And it's great because it brings in good luck. It also brings in happiness and protection as well. So that's a good, more traditional herb that is used. Another one of the traditional ones is blessed thistle. So this is going to be using for purification. So that's kind of what we did with the smudging, is to purify everything. So you could use this too and it would work just fine. If you don't happen to have any smudge, anything at home, that's okay. So that is also good for protection from evil. So again, that kind of dates back to more protective against evil curses and stuff. And it's also really good for the fire element. So that, obviously you've got lots of fireplaces and stuff like that. So that kind of brings in that energy as well into the home. Another traditional one is bay leaf, and that is good, again, protection and for hex breaking. So again, that kind of dates back to, hey, if there's a hex that's been placed on you, this is good to kind of repel that. So that's what that is. Cinnamon, again, that's one of the more traditional ones. When I think of Christmas or Yule or the winter solstice, anytime around this holiday, cinnamon is one of the things I think of. Normally, again, a lot of people use cinnamon sticks. We didn't have any, so we've got ground cinnamon, and that will work just fine. Does the same thing. So again, that's really good for spirituality. It also brings in success. And cinnamon is actually an amplifier. So if you put this with any other herbs or any other stones, it's going to help amplify it and give it that little extra kick. So even if cinnamon wasn't a traditional one, I would throw it in there just because it helps, and it smells really good too. So there's that one. Some people, again, they like to put sage in theirs. You could do that, and that just brings in, purifying energy. You could also bring in, I've heard of people doing rose petals, and that's for bringing in love for the new year, so you can do that as well. Yarrow flower is a really good one. It's good for psychic power and protection. And this is actually another really good one that is common that people will use a lot as well too. Clove. Clove is also really good. Again, protection, love. It's also can bring in money. So if you're, that's one of your goals for the new year, or you're wanting to bring that energy in, that's a good one. Lavender. Lavender is really good for sleep, relaxing, calming. The holidays are really stressful for everybody, so I like throwing lavender into mine because it just kind of zens out that energy. Star Anise is also a really good one. We have the whole version here. They have seeds. You could just use the seeds. You could break it up however you want to do it. And again, this is going to be an amplifier as well. So it works kind of the same way that cinnamon does. It amplifies everything, but then it also brings in good luck as well. And then the last one that we have some gorgeous, thank you, Susan, holly. And so, again, it doesn't have to be fresh. You can just use just the leaves. You could use the whole plant. You could use the berries. Whatever you want to do, whatever you can find is going to work. You don't have to have all of these. You can use one or you can use them all. It doesn't matter. Some people also will add things like glitter. All of these herbs are from our store. They're brought up from downstairs. So all of this is going to be available in store and online. And if you weren't able to make the class today, we are also going to be putting these, they're in there, these and making like little kits that you can make your own. So we'll have those in store and possibly online too. So if you live farther away, so we'll have all these ingredients, and we'll have papers and stuff with all the herbs and what they do and all that packaged up for you that you can get in store or online. So don't worry if you weren't able to make it today. Think of these as like a really festive and fun spell jar in a way. You can do it for protection. Originally, these were for protection and, breaking hexes and stuff. But in today's world, I don't think there's quite as many hexes being placed around. So you can do protection. You can do one for abundance. You can do one for if you're trying to bring in more money or more romance or whatever it is. So it's basically just whatever herb you want to use, whatever, setting your intentions is going to be the best thing. The magic doesn't come from the herbs. The magic comes from within you and from the universe. So these are just tools. So that's a good way to look at it. If you don't have all the herbs, that's fine. Use whatever you need to. You can also use stones as well. We've got Rose Quartz for bringing in love, and that's also really good for self-love too, not just romantic love. We have Pyrite that you can use, and again, that's going to be really good for bringing in abundance and wealth and money. And then clear quartz, again, is what we call an amplifier, so that's going to amplify anything you put it with. So you can use herbs, you can use stones. If you want to just make it pretty and shiny, then add glitter to it if you want. There's no wrong way to do this. Any way that you want to do it is going to be just fine. And I've already put some of the more traditional ones. I put cinnamon in there. I have blessed thistle. I've got clove and mistletoe in there. I also put a tiny little chunk of star anise in it too, just to spice it up a little bit. Did that, and I also made this one that has just you know, for more people that like more of the minimalistic looking ones. There's that one.
Angela, we'll take some pictures of those still pictures later. Now, are you making a protection ball?
I'm doing a little bit of both. I'm just doing basically like a Yule themed one. So the more traditional ones, that's going to be more for protection and bringing in positive energy. So basically I'm trying to emulate the original, like the webbing that was found in the glass. And the original webbing was also made of glass. The way they had it formed like a little web. So I'm kind of taking inspiration from that, just adding a little bit of shine to it. You could also, I know some people that use sigils. You can draw a sigil on it, or, you know, write it on a little piece of paper and put it in there. I've seen people do that. I've seen people write rune symbols on theirs. For the last part, I'm just going to attempt to put this guy, I'll take off one berry and put him in there. I'm going to attempt to get this guy in there. Ooh, that went a lot quicker than my last time. Awesome. Holly is one of the more traditional herbs that's used for Yule. It brings in peace. It also symbolizes luck as well as prosperity. So that's a good one to have in your little ornaments. This is sweet orange essential oil. We are not able to fit a dehydrated or dried out orange slice in there. That's one of the most common things you'll see around Yule. Some people string them up and put them in their houses, but most people put them in their little witch balls. So I'm just going to add a few drops of this as a substitution for that. We've got other herbs in there, so it'll soak up pretty easily. A few drops will do. You don't need to do too much. Orange is more of a happy and plentiful type, so it brings in happiness and also just really smells good too. So depending on what type of ornament that you have, these are really easy. You just pop them back in. So that's closed. So when I'm doing that, I'm just kind of, you can either verbally or just mentally kind of think about closing up that positive energy and really using it as a manifestation. So just really thinking about what you're going to do. Now it's secure and it's ready to go.